very influential in bringing scientists, people over, developing them scientists, helping them to get positions back in their country. Every year we take a picture, we call it the ISOCAMP photo. I want to point out that this picture was taken on June 26th, 2015. Does that date stand out? No. It was the day that the U.S. Supreme Court declared same-sex marriage legal. And I thought it was very premonitious that we happened to have a rainbow shirt that year. And that we happened to take it on that picture. So that picture was taken about 10:30 in the morning, and the Supreme Court notice didn't come out till the afternoon. So how'd the course go? Well, there was always a lecture in the morning. I give Lou part of the lecture. So here's one of those slides that, oh, please don't show. This is Terry Sterling showing a young Gabe Bowen. This is the button that you push. So they'd have morning lectures, and in the afternoon we'd go to the field. And in the field, as you've heard from Terry, the world's your oyster. We want you to come up with a project. But by the way, you've got to collect the samples today, analyze them Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, because on Friday you're making a presentation. So it's a very rigid course sequence. I'm going to tell you about two of those projects. One is with the late, great Don Chow, who was a whale biologist, but he was actually a closet herpetologist. He loved snakes. So he would always find students that wanted to engage in a project like that. And of course, the students are doubtful. He says, trust me, you'll always find snakes. And so they go out and start looking at snakes. And one of the students says, Professor Chow, can I pick up this one? Well, he said, didn't I tell you if it had a triangular head, you'll pick it up? So of course he says, trust me, they're harmless, don't worry, but just in case I'll hold it. Now, what he did was he divided people into teams for these analyses. And every team had 3 individuals. There was the snake handler. There was the surgeon. And the surgeon's job was to remove a couple of scales. And then, of course, there was the statistician, which told you how many you needed to get. And they had a lot of fun. And then, I don't know if you know this is the old snake in a jar trick, snake in a jar experiment. And in the snake in the jar, you get a snake, you put it in the jar, and you seal the lid. Now that sounds pretty cool. But what you do is you take a syringe, you extract a volume of air. And for that volume of air, you get the CO2 concentration and the isotope ratio. And you do that several times, and you know the time. And all of a sudden, you know the respiration rate of that animal, and you know the isotope ratio when it's digested. And then, of course, you release the snake. The other project, which I think was a lot of fun, was students were headed out to the mountain. Just before they got on the freeway, they saw this deer on the side of the road. They did a U-turn, came back, and all this, stop the car, you gotta go. And as they're doing it, one of the students is saying, okay, we did this lecture, we did this lecture. That's what that's happening. So what do? They saw off the antlers, and they hack off the hooves. And, oh, whoa, I remember that lecture. Let's extract the teeth. And before you know it, oh, there's that microbe lecture. We better measure metabolism. We got the syringe. What do? We stick it into the gut, and we're going to measure the isotope ratio of what's being respired. Very clever students. Oh, we forgot. We got to get hair samples. So they get hair samples, and before you know it, they find a hubcap, and they can bring all this material back to the lab. Once they're back in the lab, you can see on the top they're busy preparing their samples, and then down on the bottom, they're learning how to run the mass spec. And then on the bottom right, you say, oh crap, I actually have to run the mass spec. Then they go back and pull out that manual to see what I'm supposed to be doing. Then they get the results. And that's when you find the instructor. In this case, it was Jen Sparks, but it could just as easily be Venturi staring over the data because they were excited about the data. After that, by Friday, they make a presentation. And on Friday night, they forget all about the course and they party. Everybody's partying. But two guys are still sitting there talking about isotopes and science and stuff. And they had a glass of wine in front of them, but I went by several times. That glass of wine didn't change its elevation. But Trudy Ken indeed party. For those of you that were with us at AGU, it was quite a celebration. I think you can recognize maybe a few of the folks in that picture. On Sunday mornings, which happened to be Father's Day, we had the Dutch oven cookout. That was done by Brent Cook, the brother of Craig Cook, who ran the Nesmith Lab. And Brent was a world champion, and once you're a world champion, you gotta retire. So he would cook us these meals with 16 different pots. And he would cook some of the best ribs you've ever had. And, you know, when I was describing the menu, he'd say, well, I'm calculating 1.5 ribs per person. 1.5 ribs per person, that's not enough. Then I found out that each rib weighed about 2 pounds. So it was more than enough. Everything was made in those pots, and it was wonderful. After that, we had the world famous horseshoe tournament. Now, on the left, you see some people who had never played horseshoes before. On the right, you see somebody hiding in the background because he doesn't want you to know he can't play horseshoes. He doesn't know how to throw a horseshoe. On the other hand, there are people who really do know how to toss a shoe. And it's a single elimination tournament. You try to get the highest score, and the winner gets to sign their name on the ISOCAMP toilet bowl. Now, for those of you that are not in the field, the reason we have this bedpan is because there's a famous geological standard called the toilet seat. TS. Stands for the other TS, you might imagine. Stands for toilet seat. So we don't have toilet seat, we have the toilet bedpan. And you get to sign your name in it, and then you get to kiss it. Now, we had one mistake in 20 some odd years. This guy and girl won it. Instead of kissing the cup, they kissed each other. We said, oh, no, we're not going to get a picture of that. So we got a picture of them kissing the cup instead. I think we still have and it should probably be part of the new Surfer Lab. I want you to know that Terry was actually good. And one year he won the tournament, and I happened to be fortuitous enough to be able to get a picture of him with the winning toss. And if you look closely, you can see the horseshoe still in the air. Now, Terry is well known for two other things that haven't been mentioned, but I think should be mentioned now. The first is that 2021, he won the Rosenblatt Prize. And the Rosenblatt Prize is the highest prize, the highest honor of the University of Utah can offer. It's given to someone who has excelled in research or scholarly activities, excelled in teaching, and excelled as an administrator. Unless you've done all three, you're not even eligible. Lots of competition for it, and Terry won it. Now, for his talk, I know he was immersed in the halo, and it was on isotopes and elephants. And here you can see in the front, the guy with the funny shoes, that's our president. And Taylor Randall is either deeply engaged, or in stupor. But for some reason, he keeps inviting Terry back for dinner, so I guess he must have liked him. But also, I would be remiss if I didn't say that Terry had also won the Utah Governors back in 2012. So everybody who's interested in science, everybody's interested in technology, everybody who's interested in all the applications compete for this prize, and Terry won. Now, for this, Nalini Nadkarni, who is a colleague of ours, contacted a rapper. And she said to the rapper, Gabe, I might need to know what's she said to the rapper, would you write a song? So she wrote this song called Shake It for Science. Now, you might not know the lyrics to that, but if I told you that Taylor Swift had a hit song at the same time called Shake It Up, you'll all know what the tune is for Shake It Up. So here's this rap song, and it's sung before everybody. and I want to conclude with 20 seconds of this if I can. I don't know how to start this sound. But this is the last 20 seconds or so of a 5-minute engagement. And you've got to get old farts to stand up and actually do this. So if you look across this, that's the Vice President of Research. Yeah, I'm shaking it all up. The librarian is voice in the background. Oh, wait, here comes this part. Thanks for 41 years of collaboration and friendship. And maybe this year we might try another breakfast